welcome back. My name is Rebecca, never Becky, and today guys I want to show you one-on-one how to contour your face. Now I know everyone has a different way of doing it, but this is how I do it. So let's just get into this video. Start off with e.l.f. concealer, and I'm going to show you guys a few ways you can do your concealer and kind of the old ways as well. So I'm going to start off with the old-fashioned way of what not to do. Mind you guys, do not repeat this. Do not have a habit of doing this anymore. I will show you guys with foundation actually of something, the old technique that I used to do before I kind of got really skilled. Now I'm not gonna put a full face on for you guys. I'm just doing a little bit. Oh, okay, I do have a little bit. I was a little nervous there. I used to do this method is take my foundation and put it basically all over the eye, all in the face. And I'm gonna add a little more foundation. I'm using my Maybelline Matte and Poreless in 355 guys, and I'm literally showing you guys even a few months ago what I was doing before I just decided to really get better and educate myself. So this is what I would do, and I'm only gonna do one half of my face and show you guys on the other half what I'm doing now, how the game has changed for your girl. So again, this was the old version of me and how I used to, you know, add my foundation, which I'm sure a lot of people are like, what's wrong with that? I always do it. Well, I'm gonna show you what the difference is. I'm gonna go in with my e.l.f. concealer, and I'm going to do the old school method, guys. Again, don't do this, because this is exactly what I used to do, and I now hate this method because it doesn't really help you with brightening your face, because what you wind up doing is basically blending both colors. I'm gonna use the other side of the beauty blender to blend it out, and this is really what I would do. It looked crazy then, and no one told me, but I'm telling you guys, so you can't say no one told you. So this is what I used to do. And I would take it up. Never mind this hair, guys. She's crazy today. The hair is crazy. I'm not even gonna try to make excuses. I just didn't feel like doing it. So again, this is how I used to wear my concealer. So one thing that I've noticed is that my concealer seems to drag my face down. I don't know if you guys can see that, but it makes it more wider. Now I do have a very narrow face, but it makes it a lot more wider, and it brings down my face. I'm gonna go on this side and show you guys what I'm doing. And what I'm gonna first start off with is my concealer, so you guys can see an obvious difference. I'm gonna start in with my concealer right underneath the eye, and I'm gonna go all the way up the nose on this one. So there's no foundation, it's just concealer, and we're gonna go all the way across. Now again, this may be too much for some people as far as concealer, but as long as you're using this method, you can put as much or as little concealer as you want. I'm gonna go back in with the beauty blender, and I'm going to blend this out as I would normally do, just to show you guys what the difference is, so you guys don't keep this method up. I mean, I will say that, you know, everyone has their own way of doing makeup, and that's fine, but I feel like if you're not learning and progressing, then what are we doing? I may be at the bottom of this, but I'm gonna go ahead and take the Maybelline Matte and Poreless, and I'm going to distribute out around my concealer. So this is what I'm doing different. I'm no longer blending them in together, so I can kind of clean up where I want. I'm gonna take a little bit more. This is why I don't buy this foundation anymore, because I had to use my hand so much. But I'm gonna take some more foundation, because it's barely any left, but I'm gonna keep going. And I'm gonna distribute out where I want and how I see this look coming along. So just for a little more coverage, we're gonna really start sculpting, and I like to go like this upwards, so it's bringing up my face. It's not dragging it down or anything like that. So, and then of course I would take it further up, but I'm not there, and I just also want to just do it this way so you guys can see the difference of what I used to do versus what I'm doing now. So So I don't know if you guys can see already, it's a night and day transformation. This is what I used to do and this is what I do now. I keep it centered, and one thing that I like about this method that I learned is that I'm not adding 2 layers of makeup. So here you guys saw me put on the foundation and then add concealer, which I feel like that's one less step and one less pump that you have to worry about. Where now it's just concealer, then foundation, and it makes a super difference in how your makeup is gonna look. How different these two sides of my face is. Looking at you guys directly, I mean, I just feel like this is bringing my face down, where this is bringing my face up. And because I'm using more of my skin tone shade, you see only brightness around the eye versus all throughout my cheek, all in here. It's not worth it to do it that way. And honestly, it helps me at least to contour even better. So let me show you another way that I used to contour. I'm gonna use my black Radiance stick, guys. I mean, I only have a little bit less, so you guys can tell your girl used to be working this. So one thing that I used to do that I no longer do, and again, this is my do not do side. I used to take the contour stick and run it on the face with no brush and down the nose as well. That's exactly how I used to look. What I'm gonna go ahead and do is take, I want to be more realistic of what I used to do, but basically something like this. Actually, no, I have it. I would take a brush like this and then begin to do this. And this is what I would do until I felt really good about, you know, the blending and everything else. And then it just stayed like that. Like, I really felt good about this. I'm sure if you guys go back in a few videos, like 2-3 months back, you will see this is literally what your girl was doing. And I would take the same size brush and go right along the nose, which was basically making it wider. Making my nose contour so much wider. So you can already see, even if I blend as much as I want to blend, for the sake of this video, guys, I'm not trying to exaggerate this. This is just really what I was doing, and I would be in here blending for this long. It looks good from the front, but honestly, from the side, this is very harsh. This is unacceptable behavior, you know? So what I do now is I take a more defined brush. So I have my Morphe 164 brush, and what I do now with my contour is I'm a little more precise. And so just for the sake of this video, I'm gonna use the same contour stick, Black Radiance, and I will put a disclaimer, guys, I no longer use this because it is so drying, it's not movable. So actually, let's just skip this. Let's not even pretend that I use that anymore. What I will do is use my Juvias Place, guys. I'll use my Juvias Place to show you guys, because honestly, I just upgraded from this one, but this is the most creamiest formula, and it's a foundation stick, so it's just, it works so much better. I use a precise brush like this, as you guys can see, to get the job done. I no longer go in with harsh lines, and what I'd like to do is start up here and work my way down. So it kind of gives me that. You guys can see that? It's giving me a nice little curve in the cheek area, and it also helps separate the concealer from my foundation. I'm gonna go in more precise lines with this brush here and try to keep my line as straight as possible. And I no longer just go all the way down. What I like to do now, I will show you guys on this side, is shade in the tip of my nose. Sometimes I'll give myself a little button nose, but it's important to shade this part in. That way your nose don't look so long. I'm gonna take a more precise brush to blend out versus just any brush, which is my Morphe S26. It's a very angled brush, and it's nice and fluffy, so it gets the job done. So what I would do is go ahead and take this brush, and I will begin to blend it out right underneath the brow, because that is actual where your shadowing happens, is right underneath your brow, down the bridge of your nose. And again, guys, we're gonna blend out this little shaded area at the tip of the nose because we just don't want our nose to look elongated. So that's what I'm doing here. It's just blending it out. And you guys can see it didn't move all over the face, where this one was just completely insane and it moved everywhere, right? So we're gonna just make sure that this doesn't happen anymore by using brushes that are fluffy and it's just angled perfectly and it fits comfortably on the face. So if you need to go a size smaller, do that. But I like this size because it gets the job done. And then what I do is take a brush that I have from Morphe. Unfortunately, it doesn't have a name, so it's just a nice, flat, fluffy, tailored brush, as you guys can see. And what I do is I do upward motions because I don't want to drag the face down. That's not the goal, right? So we're gonna go upwards into those cheekbones. Really buff it out, right? And because this is a more creamy formula, it's not gonna stay still like this side did. It's gonna blend nicely. It's really, really nice. I love it. If you guys do not have this foundation stick, go get you one from Juvias Place. It's really inexpensive. If I'm not mistaken, it's actually on sale, and I think they're like $8 right now where they're $14 before. And I bought mine's full price, so I wish I waited, but I needed it when I needed it. So that's just kind of what it is now versus what I was doing before. Even though it's very defined, it's very there, it's just not good. It doesn't look good. Where this is more natural looking, the highlights are there, you can see definition in my face. This just looks like a mess, like an entire mess, guys. So again, this is what you should be doing now versus what you should not be doing, because a whole lot of bronzing is not necessarily the look. Another thing that I do too, guys, I'm trying to like look for my product, sorry. Another thing that I do is take my concealer when I feel like my bronzer or my, I take my concealer, and what I sometimes do if I feel like it's gotten out of control is I go back in and I clean up with the concealer that I have. So that is another way to also make sure that when you're done bronzing and you're done contouring your nose, that you have good thin lines. You don't want anything crazy like this because it's so noticeable and no one likes that. And we want something that looks more natural, thin, so when you're taking photos, you don't have this big blur. Like I look back at my photos and I'm like, why did no one tell me? This is not it. This is not okay. So I'm telling you guys, so you can never say no one told you what you should be doing, what you shouldn't be doing. Don't do this anymore, guys, like ever. So again, as you guys can see, I'm like looking at my monitor right now because I can't believe like it's night and day in comparison to what I used to do. And again, this was only a few months ago that I was doing this consistently and teaching you guys this. So please don't feel uneducated about makeup. We all are growing and learning, and don't be afraid to change up your routine. I think a lot of people get a little intimidated changing up their routine, but it's perfectly fine. And honestly, the more that you learn and the more that you change your routine and how you apply your makeup, the quicker you will learn that it doesn't take that many steps, and you can really do this within 30 minutes flat. You know, no more hours, or you know, it's taking you forever because you're just basically slapping on makeup and trying to rush yourself. And even when you're not rushing yourself, when you don't know what you're doing, it feels like you're in that bathroom forever, and no one wants to feel like that. So what I want to teach you guys, or at least have you guys take away from today, is just take your time, make sure that your lines are as perfect as possible, and if they're not, don't be afraid to, you know, go back in with some concealer of your choice and clean those lines up. It only takes a few seconds. It may seem like it's a lot, but honestly, when your foundation is laid right, it's like it doesn't matter what else you do. Your brows could be crazy, your lipstick could be crazy, it doesn't matter. As long as your foundation, and this is what I mean, like the whole face is correctly done, it's like you almost do, all you need at that point is some chapstick, an eyeliner, and you're out the door. As long as the base of the face is correct. If you're looking like what your girl was doing before, just hang it up. Go back in there, wash this off, because it's not cute. So this is just what I wanted to show you guys, and you know, I don't want to make this video too long because it's just something I felt like I needed to share with you guys. I'm having a lot of breakouts, so excuse me, but I just want to share with you guys like what to do going forward and how I'm doing it. Like, I really want to take my time and teach you guys so you guys are not just looking at a pretty face all the time. I feel like that's not what I want you guys to take away from my channel. So hopefully this really helped you guys. If it did, leave me comments below. I'm gonna wash this off and get ready for part 2.